Hey guys, what's going on? Eric here, bringing you guys some more D2 content. In today's video, we are going to go over my Rathma Charger. I'm going to talk about the gear, prices, the skills, charms, stats, all that fun stuff, and then we are going to run a T2 Rathma. I'm currently sitting at 11 T1 kills and 29 T2s. Still no uniques, but I have found an almanac. Let's see the stats. There we go. I did the first T0 essentially. It was pretty easy. Jumped up to T1, stuck around there for a while, and I've since done 29 T2s. I'm on a 5 kill streak right now, so it's going smooth. I do still die, but let's get into the gear. All right, first and foremost, shout out to RAR. I don't typically accept donations from people. I have a lot of wealth, so when people try to give me stuff just because I'm a YouTube content creator, I'm like, all right, somebody else is more deserving. But when it came to this, I was using my Rathma Barb. I was going to make a video on that, but that thing sucked. It sucked. I didn't know they nerfed Wolf Howl from having Fury on it and then moving it to Feral Rage. That thing just, it didn't do enough damage, so it sucked. So when Roar was seemingly quitting, he dropped this along with some other items and along with a vial. So he gave me this GF and a vial, and I built a character around this, which is just insane. I'm currently sitting with 340 ED 15 requirement jewels in there. Each jewel cost about 3 high runes. While I was saving up the jewels, I had hell runes in there, which brought it down to 60 requirement, and I brain farted. I forgot that hell runes dropped it down to 60. So when I socketed this, I was sad. Ideally, you would have 4 requirement jewels unless your jewelry and gear adds a lot more dex or strength. So keep that in mind. Just note that they are going to nerf charge in season 10. I'm not really sure to what extent, but basically they're going to add IES breakpoints. So maybe best on slot might be 20 ED, 20 IS, 120 ED, and then you might need more EDIS jewels to hit that breakpoint, but we will see. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, moving on to the gloves. You could either use target defense or attack rating. I'm not really sure which is better, to be honest. I think I paid about 5 high runes for these. If they go up to 25 target defense, they can be upwards of 10 plus high runes. And they work at half effective rate against bosses. So right now I'm reducing the bosses by 11% defense. Again, attack rating or target defense are good to go. You don't need ED or Deadly Strike in my opinion. I also know that some people use Death Gloves, but I feel like the enemy physical resistance and the 50 monster defense per hit, it's just too hard to beat. These things are sick. Moving on to the Nature's Peace, you want attack rating. If you have life, that's pretty good as well. Ideally, this would be perfect. The lightning res doesn't really matter. And then if I had perfect fire res, then I would just have 2 less points into fire res and then a couple more points into blessed aim. For the other ring, I think I found this. I forget. The potential to be godly, it's through the roof. Like I could have had double attack rating with light res. I could have slammed more attack rating. I could have had 40 life. But this thing gets the job done. You got PLR, all res, and strength saving me points as well as the attack rating. For the boots, I think I paid a Sur rune for this. They are 3 life from perfect. That's really what you want to shoot for. If I were to use an Andy helm, then I would go for fire or cold res on the boots. But I think 8 max fire res are pretty expensive boots just because also declone players are using those as well. So they get pretty expensive. They can get upwards of like 6 to 8 high runes. For the belt, I paid 5 high runes for this. I almost bought a similar belt that had a little less strength and life, but it had 25 PLR. I wasn't really sure if I needed that. I feel like I liked the life to just tank the hits of Rathma's spears. You want to get a lot of PLR for the poison, but sometimes just having that little bit of extra life to hit those double spears, I feel like I made the right choice with sticking with this belt. For the armor, I actually found this, slammed this myself, boxed it myself. Had I gotten 6% life, or maybe even max cold or max fire, I probably would have went with the Andariel's helm. But since I got max poison, if I got 10 from the helm, all of my other stacked poison res would have been useless. So I think best on slot is still Andy's helm, depends on whether or not you need the strength. So since I got a lot of strength on my ring and my belt, and if I had a ton of strength on my amulet, then you probably want to stick with Shaco. For the helm, I was trying to get one of these for a while, maybe like a couple weeks, and I found one, and the guy was asking way too much. I almost sold a mirror just to get some more runes just to get one. And then I was AFK, guy came into my game, said he had one. I wasn't able to contact him for maybe 3 or 4 days, but I wrote down his name and I'm like, okay, maybe he has one. I messaged him, he says, I don't need runes, can you just give me some crafting materials? I'm like, are you sure? Like, I can give you some high runes. He's like, no, season's pretty much done. So I gave him about maybe 1 high rune in materials from jewels and crafting materials. So this is great. It's got perfect 6%. I got 2 jobbers in that, and this gives me a ton of life. For the amulet, this is actually a brick. Man, it was so nice. I had a really nice high res, high attack rating, 75 PLR amulet when I was running my barb, and then I slammed 2 max, and that saved me so much points, which is just great. The ceiling for this is insane. I could have 30 strength, 20 dex, or 60 life. I could have more res. I could have Paladin skills for a little bit more damage, but I haven't been able to find or craft anything better. I've crafted about, I think, 500 hit power ones because those add a lot of attack rating, but I haven't been able to upgrade, unfortunately. But yeah, the ceiling for this is insane. I stole this from my Amazon. I paid 6 high runes for this. The shield I bought for 5 high runes, box tip for 1, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter. I just wanted the +3 skills and the strength. If you are requiring the strength of your weapon to wear your gloves or your armor or maybe your anti-helm, I forget how much strength it requires to use that, you're definitely going to need either a Hawes or a lidless or Alma Negra with some foul runes in it. So if you get a +3 Alma Negra, you're going to want to hit those 2 sockets to put foul runes in it, for example. For the charms, they're all over the place with prices. You know, a lot of them, maybe I paid 5 high runes, maybe I paid a goal. You just want to have enough max res and life. The damage doesn't matter. If you get max damage on some of these SCs, whatever, doesn't really mean anything. Like if I took off all of these little max damage things, it's not going to show on my stat screen. I'm already doing whatever, 34k. So adding just a little bit of max damage doesn't really matter. I would say if you're caring about damage, you just want to make sure you have high ET in your weapon. Let's see here. Let's talk about skills. Max Charge and its 2 synergies will max Holy Shield. And then depending on what gear you have, you're going to put extra points into Max Cold Resist or Max Fire. Every 2 points gives you 1 max res. And then the rest of the points can go into Blessed Aim. So if I had really good max res items, then I'm going to have a lot of extra points into Blessed Aim because this adds to negative target defense. Let's battle order and we will look at my stat screen. All right, we have 42, 41 life. We've got max 90 on all of these. Doesn't really matter when it comes to lightning res. Damage reduction doesn't matter at all either. There is a Void Knight that does physical, which it hurts if you get hit by it, but you should be able to dodge most of those Void Knight attacks. Looking at my extended stat screens, am I in normal? I'm in normal. Let's go to hell. You go to hell with me. All right, here we go. 123, that accounts for the -33 you need for P2 Rathma. And then I've got 39 Magic Vine because that's going to help me find a Band of Skulls. Not really. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I'm going to talk about some tips. Let me get life. We'll come over here. All right. We got a T2 Rathma here. So as part of my routine, make sure your inventory is locked. It's one thing to lose a cube during the fight, but if you accidentally drop an item or a charm, that really sucks. I've never done it. So make sure your gear is locked. And then in terms of juves, I only need about a belt's worth for phase 1. After phase 1, you get a ton of juves. You can fill up entirely your cube and everything. So I go in with this with an empty cube. Note that you do get a couple juves prior to phase 1, but it's really random. You might get 8 juves or you might get 20. So just keep that in mind. If you need more juves, don't rely on the juves that drop from the monsters prior to starting. Let me just double check I covered everything before we start here. Okay, I think I fumbled up my commentary. I was looking at my notes, and I think I missed some stuff. Just real quick, before I go into the fight, note that I have my cube over here. I used to have it over here, and sometimes I would fumble around it. But having just four more juves over here, and then not having to accidentally click the cube or work around the cube, it helped just to have it over to the right. One other note is that I always come in with maybe like one antidote, possibly two sometimes. I don't normally need an antidote for phase 1. You could potentially get hit with the sludge, but if you are constantly attacking, you're not going to get hit with it. The only time you would get hit with the sludge and need to antidote is if you're fumbling with adding pots to your belt. So I only add 1 to 2 pots to my belt and then start attacking again. Actually, I'm going to get one more antidote just in case. I've actually never had to use 2, but hypothetically, if I mess up and I didn't have the antidote, that could be a failed run. You cannot out-juve that particular poison damage. The poison on the outside of the ring and the poison over that he throws, yeah, that's not going to require an antidote potion. All right. Lastly, this is heavily RNG, especially phase 2 and phase 3. Sometimes Rathma is crazy aggro. Sometimes you don't hit enough. Sometimes you don't do enough damage. So we'll see. I fumbled enough. Let's get started. All right, here we go. We've got locked. We've got our juves. Let's get started. If you don't want to pay for juves, you're definitely going to want to come in with just a few, and then you collect here in the map. But if you're wanting to go quicker, you can pay an Istrun and get a tab of juves, and that speeds up the process for sure. These the dolls definitely do enough damage to kill you, like if you're not paying attention. So if you get hit with like 6 of them, you're gonna feel it for sure. Also, there are souls in here. I don't have a ton of stacked light res, so sometimes they do a lot of damage. So typically the run takes about 12 minutes. That's not a good sign if I can't click on a juve. Alright, so we ended up finding, what, like about 20 or so. Alright, let's use a juve. I like to get really close to him right here so he doesn't teleport away from the start. You hit him a bunch, and as long as you dodge the towers, there we go. When it goes into salvation, come over here. Usually that first one misses. If you dodge the towers enough, you will save juves, and depending on how much life you have, you could get away with using 1 belt. Again, I don't need faster hit recovery. That Bale wave attack does not... I can charge through it, essentially. Note that if the golems do get to him, they do heal him. So, at this rate, I'm doing okay. I'm hitting him enough that I shouldn't have to add pots to my belt, but if I do, I do. Adding pots to your belt is the only time that you would have to worry about getting hit with the sludge and have to antidote. So right there, I was not able to charge through his attack. It's hit or miss. Sometimes you get hit, sometimes you can charge through it. So far, this is a pretty good run. I can tell that I'm hitting him more often than not. So that golem took way more hits than normal. All right, that's not good. They're not going down. Healed him a little bit, unfortunately. All right, Couple more hits. I'm just gonna out-juve it. I'll fill that over there just in case I don't accidentally add an antidote or like a mana pot to my inventory or my bell. All right. I've always been able to fill, like if I had 0 pots left, I should be able to fill my belt, my inventory, and my cube at this point. I've only had one run where it was very stingy and I came up to the exact amount. But normally you should be pretty good. I like to look at the cube, like, yeah, I counted 16, but I like to look just in case for my peace of mind. I have had runs where I failed regardless of what was in the cube, and then I remembered, oh wow, I didn't put anything in the cube, so I would have failed anyways. I've only had that happen one time, but you just need to have a routine in place. Like I said, you make sure you don't have like I have an experienced Annie when I'm leveling, and I have a Geed. So you want to make sure that you have the correct charms, make sure your gear is locked, and make sure you get the cube full with juves prior to phase 3. Or phase 2 as well. But honestly, if you're having to grab juves from the cube for phase 2, you probably might not be able to handle phase 3, honestly. Ooh, almost went in there. All right. All right. Shake the fingers out. This one is usually pretty easy. I'm gonna juve, swap first, and then get close to him. Start hitting, and then watch out for the double spears. Sometimes you gotta double juve and get caught up. At this point, I probably could have backed off a little bit. These 3 clumped up is really nice, actually. And you don't have to kill the soul. I like to do it just in case. Hey, whoa, hey now. Let me add my juve. Oh, I didn't finish him off. There we go. The soul is the one that is adding the fire to the ground. You don't always have to kill him. You can tank a lot. Notice the direction of the Void Knight shots. So sometimes go vertical, up and down, just whatever perpendicular to the direction that they are. Sometimes when the Void Knight is on top of Rathma, you just have to rekite. You need to rekite away. Because trying to teleport, trying to charge when he has conviction or salvation on, it's just really hard to get that shot off. All right, that was kind of sketchy. Ooh. All right, we got plenty of juves here. Ooh. Ooh. Kind of messing up there. All right, so that one's on top. I'm gonna add some juves over here. Not the cleanest phase 3 here. All right, we just need to out-juve him. There we go. Did okay. All right, now again, even if you don't use the antidote in phase 1, forgot to note you don't need to use it in phase 2. Having that there, being able to just pop it into the belt, make sure I'm organized. All right. Let's fill up the rest of our pots. Again, just double check that we have pots in our cube. If I do fail this fight, I'm on a 5 kill streak, but I do still mess up sometimes. If I do fail this fight, I'm gonna start a new game, and then I'll just skip to the final phase just to get through everything. Note that, so I'm level 97, and if I were to kill all of these monsters, I get about 0.01% from each of them. So I could get about 1% XP or so if I decided to kill all of the monsters. All right, we're good. Note that I did keep one more extra antidote. I may or may not need it, but if I mess up my rotation, if I click one on accident when I'm trying to juve, having that extra one's really nice. I like to come up here, make sure I got all the bats that are coming down, and then I have my juves. I got one over here. Time to shake it out. All right. The only time I die is from adrenaline. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get close to them. Trying to think about pot rotation, essentially. Guess we'll just have to watch. One thing that I do differently is that I do keep my inventory up the whole time. I fumble less that way, in my opinion. All right, here we go. Alright, I'm gonna pot real quick. Kill the soul. Oh dang, we are not. There we go. Let's get the Void Knights down. They're clumped up, which is kind of nice. Alright. Sometimes the best defense is offense. So attacking the Void Knights means they're not hitting you. I like to clump up on Mendelin in the middle and then have Rathma come to me. Centering Mendelin is really helpful. Alright. Alright. My left hand is shaking. Alright, let's get some pots in here. Do some dodging. Come on. Time to attack again. Alright, we are ready for phase 3. Oh, dang, they're really clumped up. Oh, they're really clumped up. Shit. Fail. I think I had enough jubes. Let's see. Yeah, I had enough jubes to finish it. I did fail. I'm going to load up another game. Alright, let's try this again. Great. He's like super aggro. That's only the second time he's ever attacked that early before I even get off my battle orders. I've never had that happen any other time. Alright. How many juves? Like, that was one of my most... This is the most juves I've ever had. So I failed the previous run, and then this time I ended up with that many. Alright, we are at 30 kills. No unique item yet other than the almanac, which I got on my second run. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. I'm sure I've missed some stuff. I kind of fumbled through this. Can you see my hands shaking? I'm not sure what to do with my hands. Holy crap, the adrenaline's crazy in that fight. All right, bye.